it is only imperative that the organizations adapt to stay relevant. I am Ravi, and in this session, I would like to invite Arun Prakash, Executive Vice President, InfoPro Learning, to share his insights on framework that the organizations can use to stay relevant in a rapidly changing workplace. Arun is an industry veteran and a thought leader and has played a critical role in designing and developing these frameworks. Over to you, Arun.
Hello, and welcome to this webinar, Obsolete to Adaptable, a framework for organizations to stay relevant in a rapidly changing workforce. There are some danger signs. The danger signs talk about things like 2.25 million robots have entered in the workforce in the past 2 decades. And it's expected to touch 20 million by 2030. 25% of all mundane, repetitive jobs are at risk of automation in the US. Approximately 36 million jobs is what that amounts to. And no single occupation will remain unaffected by technological breakthroughs. Jobs lost to automation, statistics tell us, that's the reality. However, jobs that entail routine activities like physical labor, information collection, or processing are very, very susceptible to this automation. And in England alone, 1.5 million jobs are in danger of being automated. So these are some very interesting signs that we see. So what does really getting obsolete mean? 1.7 million jobs worldwide was lost to automation in the US alone. Sorry, this is worldwide. 1.7 million jobs worldwide was lost to automation since the year 2000, right? According to an artificial intelligence expert, Kai Lee, robots could replace 40% of all the jobs worldwide in the next 15 to 25 years. In fact, a McKinsey Global Institute study says that 375 million jobs are expected to vanish by 2030. In fact, the US alone, we've lost 260,000 jobs to robots since 2000. McKinsey Global Institute also suggests that as much as 33% of the 2030 workforce may have to pursue new professions in different sectors as we know them today, which means about 39 million jobs could be displaced if you see somewhere in the midpoint automation. If of that number, 13 to 16 million workers would have to find new jobs. And if rapid automation occurs, the world could have an incredible 73 million jobs to automation by 2030. In this case, 48 million to 53 million workers will be forced to change occupations. Very, very alarming numbers. The top 2 villains for these numbers, the way we see it, happens to be automation and robots. Jobs that require physical labor, machine operation, food preparation, data collection, or data processing have 70 to 100% potential of being automated. Even administrative tasks like mail clerk and machine operators, they face the highest risk of 93.7% of the jobs which are susceptible to automation. Around 92.9% of duties of all of these machine operators and 90% plus of the responsibilities of word processors and typists can potentially be automated in the next few years, which means we completely off jobs. Now, there are areas like, short order cooks or even food preparation workers, right? They are very, very vulnerable to robotics. 91.4% of food preparation workers can be replaced is what studies say. Transportation, too, also faces a higher risk of automation as an industry. Right? Different occupations face varying risk levels, but none are as high as the threats of dredge operators and machine feeders and paraphish, with 100% of their activities being separately automated. In fact, if you also look a little further and extract a little further, the agricultural sector as well, in general, they may not face the same level of threats as the others in the production and food services and transportation sectors. However, a field automation this industry as well face high risk of automation, like logging equipment. Right? Logging equipment operators face a very high risk of being automated 100%. In a nutshell, these two villains are changing our life in a big way, right? But hey, I've been giving all dark data. Everything is not as bad as it seems, right? It is not as bad, and it's not a worry yet. If you look at the potential that it's opening up. The same McKinsey Global Institute has a different forecast predicting that accountants, for example, will be one of the several professions to see a higher growth in the industry, right? In fact, there are doctors and health technicians and therapists also have a brighter future. About 2030, it's estimated that the labor demand estimates that for doctors, health technicians, and therapists might even increase from 5 to 24%. Something to look up to. Again, for all care providers, child care professionals are the most likely to experience employment growth by 2030. A recent study in the Workforce Automation and Jobs projects 100% or more increase in labor demand for child care workers in the coming years. Very encouraging. In fact, teachers, another important thing, like teachers and other educational professionals should experience a 5 to 24% increase in labor demand as well, right, as educators. As a matter of fact, there will be an increased demand for these, and there will be a shortage is what we are trying to predict at this point in time. Another piece of data also says that which is coming from World Economic Forum, suggests that about 133 million jobs will be produced worldwide thanks to advances in technology, while job loss due to automation will amount to 75 million. So these are very different attributes. But if we take all in all, right, at a very high level, if you take a mean of all of these numbers that just rattled out here, about 29% of the jobs will be lost to automation and robots in the coming years, while the projections only say 13% will be generated. So there's still a big shortfall in whatever we are seeing. So that takes us to this big question. So what do we do, to make sure that we are alive, right? That we have jobs, and that we, as an organization, we perceive and make these people do something about it, right? And that's the whole webinar about. The way it works is the market is changing because of automation and robotics, and these force us to change the business priorities, and reorganizations happen, right? Which then force us to say, hey, we need new skills and new competencies, and this is a need change. There are two options. The first option is to actually hire skilled employees, right? SHRM, the TRIM, reported that on average it costs the company 6 to 9 months of an employee's salary to replace. Right? In other words, if an employee is making $60,000 a year, that comes to about $30,000 to $45,000 in recruiting and training costs. Even if you say you're ready to put that money in most of the cases, this new job has not been defined yet, or it's in a very sketchy stage and it's very difficult to find because it just came up, right? So it is difficult. The second option is to say reskill employees on those new areas that you need. But then training the new employees may mean that it may take several weeks to several months, depending on the complexity and the skill of the program. So having a structured training program to constantly skill and upskill is also not the best option, so to speak, right? So now what? How do we make sure that the employee skill sets are aligned to organizational goals at any point in time? So as market changes, as business changes, your people are also changing their skills to align to whatever you're saying. Now, the only answer seems to be creating a culture of learning, with the onus of being adaptable to lie within the learner and the employee. But then to enable that, what do we do? And what do we do as learning and development leaders, as leaders of an organization? We have to create an environment for the same. So how do we do that? I thought this was very relevant here from the president and CEO of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, saying, without change, there's no innovation, there's no creativity or incentive for improvement. Those who initiate change will have a better opportunity to manage the change that is inevitable. In this era of profound transformation, it is essential for us to have a corporate culture that values continuous learning and embraces new challenges. By fostering a culture of learning, we can adapt and thrive in an ever-changing world. So with that as a backdrop, let's go deeper and let's talk about the key aspects of this webinar and what are we trying to do here. We're trying to give a framework for thought, a framework for a process. It is not the process itself, but a thought process, a thought framework for you to create a process. Every company is unique, and every challenge that you face is unique. None of these people, none of you who are in this webinar are the same. Your constraints are different, your challenges are different, your markets are different, you're impacted differently. So there is no one way or one silver bullet that can work for you all. The only way is to generate a framework of thought. If you think in the following way that I'm saying, we believe that you'll be able to create a process, a system, a methodology for higher learning, in children and higher learning, a culture of learning. A comprehensive approach to creating culture of learning of organizations starts first by aligning the learning goals with organizational goals. And employees can then develop skills that are critical to the success of the company, right? Making learning content easily accessible and engaging, as well as providing opportunities for growth and development and keep employees motivated and invested in their own success, right? Reinforcing these learning programs, reinforce these learning initiatives by recognizing employees' initiatives to learn and contribute to the success of their organization will engage the workforce and instill a culture of learning. And lastly, nurturing the use of technology for learning can provide employees with tools that can enhance their learning experience. And that is this model that I'm talking about, which I am trying to propose here, which is called the ACORN model. The ACORN, A-C-O-R-N, starts with the A, that's aligning with the organizational goals of an organization. So to create a culture of learning is essential to align employees' skills, competencies with the short and long-term strategic goals of the organization. This helps employees understand how their work contributes to the overall success of the organization, leading to increased enthusiasm, engagement, and innovation. To determine whether employees are aligned with the needs of the organization, it's crucial to measure the impact of their learning on business outcomes, at least at Kirkpatrick level 3 or higher. This requires intentional planning and design. In addition to communicating the organizational vision, mission, goals, strategies to all employees, it's essential to translate these requirements into specific skills and competencies outlined clearly in the job description and measured by rubrics. The evaluation of learning programs, and note that I'm not saying training programs, but learning programs, is aligned with these rubrics, emphasizing alignment with skills and competencies. For example, a manufacturing company may have a strategic goal to reduce the number of safety incidents on the production floor by 10% within a year. Right? To achieve the goal, it's essential to prioritize skills and competencies that help reduce incidents on the floor, such as hazard identification, safety procedures, and risk assessment. These skills and competencies should be included in job descriptions and measured through rubrics. Learning programs should also be designed to reinforce these skills, right, and competencies. And the impact of the learning and business outcomes should be measured at a good practice level 3 or 5. For instance, the learning programs could include interactive safety simulations, on-the-job coaching, and safety workshops that provide opportunities for employees to practice and apply their safety skills. Measuring the effectiveness of these programs can be through business outcomes such as number and frequency of safety-related incidents. These can help whether the learning is really aligned to strategic goals or not. So, in a nutshell, ensuring that all the learning interventions, all the learning thought process is aligned to the goals of the organization that the organization has defined. That is A, aligning with organizational goals. Let's move to C of the ACON model, which is content quality. In the ACON model, content accessibility, engagement, and so on is represented by the C, right? And it's critical to the culture of learning. People have unique learning styles, and providing customized learning materials for each individual is not practical in a corporate context. However, it is possible to provide employees with a way to quickly identify what they need, if the learning culture is persisting, offer a nice interface to find it, and have a network for them to collaborate and learn from experts within the same organization. Accessible content can help employees dive into a subject quickly and more effectively, leading to a more engaged audience. This is especially important in a corporate context where high attrition rates and changing business needs require a workforce with high adaptability in their skill set. Imagine a sales team which is constantly on the move, meeting clients and trying to close deals. The team needs to stay up to date with the latest product and service offerings and be able to pitch them effectively. In most companies, they also need to navigate through companies' internal systems and processes to get information and support they need. For this team, accessible and engaging learning content could mean having mobile-friendly content that they have access on the go. They could benefit from quick reference guides or job aids that they can easily refer to when they need specific information. Short and interactive multi-learning modules that they can complete in between their meetings and corporate learning networks where they can connect and with other sales professionals and learn from their experiences and share their own would also be greatly helpful. By having content that is accessible and engaging, this sales team can improve their knowledge and skills, become more confident in their roles, and be better equipped to meet the challenges they face daily. Accessible and engaging learning content can also lead to increased motivation and job satisfaction, which in turn can improve their performance and contribute to the success of the organization. So you see, learning is not necessarily always a training program. It is availability of content, right content, high quality content when they need. But we also need to measure them, right? So for the sales team, it's important that we measure by tracking, of course, completion rates is one as part of good practice level 1 and 2, but then also about the incompleteness and the failures of those learning programs as well. By improving accessibility, and engagement organizations can aim to reduce these rates, which can ultimately lead to better performance. Right? Other metrics may include engagement rates and knowledge retention rates, but lagging indicators such as teams' ability to close deals more effectively and increase sales of values and achieving higher customer satisfaction ratings may be the indicators that you may want to go for. Now let's move on to the third aspect of the econ model, which is the O, and it stands for the opportunity to learn, innovate, and grow. These opportunities may include a variety of things like cross-business, cross-division, or cross-team collaboration for innovation. And they could also comprise of participation in company-wide HR initiatives or committees involving cross-functional projects that challenges employees to think outside the box and develop new skills. An opportunity to showcase leadership programs. These are all initiatives where they have an opportunity to learn, innovate, and grow, right? They can also offer training programs and development programs, mentoring and coaching programs where they can give stretch assignments where people need to do a little more than what they're supposed to do as part of their core competence, and they go in different directions, right? So this whole concept of providing the opportunity can extend. Taking some examples from the marketing team, for example, a team that aims to improve customer engagement and sales can benefit from growth and development opportunities such as attending industry conferences and workshops, cross-training on different marketing channels, and participating in cross-functional projects with other departments such as product development and customer support. Organizations can also, provide these opportunities for teams to work on assignments that challenge them to think creatively and out of the box and develop new marketing strategies. Providing these opportunities, the team can gain a broader perspective on the business and industry, improve their skills, and increase their engagement and motivation. Even these aspects can be measured in many ways, right? So tracking metrics like the percentage of employees who attend industry conferences or workshops at a low level, and to go from that to saying how many cross-functional projects are these employees participating in, or the percentage of stretch assignments that these people are taking on, and the success of those, of those assignments. These can give the motivation for these people to learn and grow within an organization. Now, again, this is not a purely learning in this. The whole concept is learning initiatives, but these are not tracked through training initiatives. These are opportunities for people to learn through engagement, through recognition, through giving more of what they can do. And that is the O in the econ model, standing for opportunity. Next comes the R in the model, which stands for reinforcing the learning programs. It's a crucial aspect of employee engagement and motivation in any organization. It includes deliberate acts of involvement in various activities by the leadership team, such as inviting the employees to participate in advisory capacities and leadership discussions, calling out employees to lead smaller focus teams, and giving them independent responsibilities. Such responsibilities can help employees feel very valued in the organization. It builds their confidence in their own abilities, and they're able to showcase their skills and expertise to their peers and superiors. Of course, this is followed by rewards and recognition, which could be even lateral or vertical growth in the organization. It could be monetary or non-monetary incentives. It could be, monetary like bonuses, but it could also be non-monetary like public praise or award or acknowledgement and celebration of employees' contribution to the organization's success. That is critical, and there are multiple cases that you can think of in an organization where people can be involved in these areas, and there are ways to measure these as well. the ways, for example, the ways to measure the impact of this reward recognition. You can track the metrics such as employee engagement scores. You can track retention rates and the number of employees who receive promotions or lateral growth opportunities as a result of their initiatives and contributions, right? So all of these put together, we can reinforce the learnings, the contribution of employees within an organization. And that also helps in creating a culture of learning. And the last one in the ACON model, N, stands for nurture. Nurturing the use of technology. I deliberately did not use the word technology as the acronym or any form of it, but nurturing it because technology changes, and it's important that it is not about just utilizing technology to facilitate learning, but also encouraging an open-minded and curious attitude towards it. With the recent activities on ChatGPT, and many people have been first in the denial mode of saying, no, this cannot happen, this cannot replace my job. But the reality being that it is here. So how can I leverage it is the question, right? It includes accepting technologies and its abilities, exploring existing technologies to become more efficient, and taking the initiative to create new tools to be more effective. By nurturing the use of technology for learning, employees can stay up to date with the latest trends and developments, and organizations can adapt more quickly to changing circumstances. In a nutshell, the ACON model, the ACORN model, helps you in thinking in a particular direction on taking the organization's culture of learning to the next level. The specific implementation of the ACON model will depend on your organization, the constraints that you figure out in the organizations, the benefits, the maturity of the learning organization, maturity of your people, maturity of your processes, systems, platforms, tools, everything put together. It will depend on a variety of factors. But this model remains the same to think. And then in each of these areas, in AC, O, R, and N, we can create specific activities to make sure that they all run in parallel to create a culture of learning program. So let's not be afraid of the two villains there. Let's not be afraid of automation or robotics. Let us just learn to dance with that. And I sincerely feel that this is for the good, and we together can engage